Welcome into the rundown on Fox Sports Radio 1400 around the world on the iHeartRadio app. My name is Rob Sanders. Thanks for joining me today. I appreciate it. I've got several things we're going to get into today, including Deshaun Watson says he wants to play for one team. We'll tell you who that team is later on. What else do we got on the list today? I mean, there are so many just interesting things out there. I'm going to tell you why, if you are here in Columbia, you should vote, or you should be going to watch the Super Regional this weekend, and who you should actually go and see. There's one player that might interest you a little bit. Also, we'll give you the updated odds to win the College World Series. I'm going to break it to you really simple. I'll take the SEC versus the field. I'm a bold guy, man. I'll tell you what. Tennessee fans are upset because, they had a great year from baseball up there in Knoxville, and they basically got ramrodded by the ticket office, and fans can't get tickets. So we'll talk about that later on. That's really funny to me. Also, we'll get into there's a great piece from the state newspaper that I want to talk about for a moment, because it kind of gives you a behind the scenes of what it's like to change a coaching staff, and some of the emails that went through Ray Tanner and the athletic department there, and how eventually the Gamecocks basically decided, hey, we're going to make a change at the coaching staff, and how that went. That is just fascinating stuff to me. I want to start the show today, though. I always goof about Alabama and the strength of schedule stuff. I have to walk these things back like I'm Michael Jackson moonwalking my way out of everything. And I'll tell you why. Today, Alabama announced they're going to do a home and home with Boston College. And the first game is going to be played in Chestnut Hill. Ladies and gentlemen, if you told me that like 2 years ago, I would have laughed at you. If you would have told me that Alabama is going to start a home and home series with Boston College, I would be like, okay, Alabama will get 2 games in Tuscaloosa, and then 12 years down the road, the Boston College will get 1 game there, and then Alabama would buy their way out of it. No, Alabama is, and with the stuff that they're putting on their schedule, I think that they're going to do something that is going to be followed by a lot of other players. A lot of other teams, with the college football playoff possibly expanding and making sure you have a tough enough schedule. Alabama's strengthening their non-conference schedule. I'll give you some examples. 2022, they're going to play at Texas. 2023, Texas at home, South Florida at South Florida. Think about that. Then they'll have South Florida at home in 2024, a road game at Wisconsin. Now notice, this is not neutral site games, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, these are actual home and home games. Now, let's be honest. We goof a lot, but Alabama right now is the gold standard in college football. They've won national titles on top of national titles. Nick Saban just signed a contract that's going to have him there until he's past, looking like Skeletor. Okay? But the rest of the schedule down the road is impressive. They go to Florida State, home game with Wisconsin, at West Virginia, home game for South Florida, home game with Florida State, West Virginia at home in 2027, and they go to Ohio State. The following year, in 2028, they have Ohio State at home and then go on the road at Oklahoma State. They go to Notre Dame and Oklahoma State as well. In 2029, at Georgia Tech, home game with Notre Dame, Georgia Tech and Boston College, Arizona and Oklahoma for 2 straight seasons. So Arizona at home 1 year, then at Oklahoma,
at Arizona at home on the road, and then at Oklahoma at home. Too many O's. Followed by in 2034, Virginia Tech and Boston College. Ladies and gentlemen, this is what you should do with your conference schedule. And I put that out there because there are certain teams that have tried to do this. Auburn, Texas A&M, Clemson, they've all tried to do this. Other teams are going to have to get involved and do that because when the college football playoff changes, you're going to have a much tougher schedule, and you can't just lean on, well, I play in the SEC, and playing a home game at Ole Miss is really hard. Playing a home game at Mizzou is really hard. That's basically what it comes down to. And this also puts a hole in everyone, and I didn't do it. I've been sounding the alarm for years, and the SEC apologists have been, Rob's stupid. He doesn't know what he's talking about. Apparently I do, because Alabama, the gold standard in college football, is scheduling 2 Power 5 opponents on their schedule. They're not just scheduling the Citadel, Charleston Southern, and UAB. No, they've got 2 Power 5 teams on their schedule. That's the way your schedule is going to have to be. You can't go through playing Murray State and whoever else. It's not going to work. So when I mess up on this show, there's a lot of shows out there that will lie to you, and that's basically what they'll do. They'll put out some big prediction, and then when it doesn't happen, they don't mention it anymore. Oh, they're going to listen anyway. They're going to listen just to hear what crazy thing I've come up with next. If I put something out there and I'm wrong, I'll own it here. Okay? Trust me on this. If you don't believe me, Alabama's already proven me right. College football is changing, and they're changing their conference schedule, their non-conference schedule. They're putting the 2 teams at least from the Power 5 conferences instead of playing a bunch of cream puffs. It's just the way it is. Now, Tom's online and says, I'm not using logic. Remind me of how many years an SEC team wasn't in the playoffs. Not relevant to this, sir. It's changing. It's changing. You've got to step out of this realm of, I support the SEC, and I've got my SEC logo on my lower back, and I walk around in Birmingham in a smoking jacket. But in the end, we all want Alabama to win. You can't have all that. Can't have all that. Beggin Megan was saying some cool stuff yesterday. He says his first dumb thing today. Bama's schedule is 4 times tougher than Clemson's year in and year out. Bama and Clemson played the same amount of top 25 teams in the regular season in the final polls at the end of the year last year. I know those facts hurt feelings, but that's just the way it is. So, Beggin Megan, bless your heart, sir. Bless your sweet little heart, because you don't know what you're talking about. Okay? Simple as that. Yes, the ACC, Tom reminds me, you have Wake Forest and Duke. People seem to forget about Wake Forest hanging 55 on Texas A&M in a bowl game. By the way, Wake Forest has more wins against Texas A&M in the past 5 years than South Carolina has ever. That's another one of those things people don't want to talk about. Now to be, but Rob, the bowl games don't matter. But then 5 minutes later, the ACC went 0 for 6 in bowl games last year. It's like they get all the SEC apologists together and they give you all these talking points, and they're just like, if somebody says this, then you must say that. And then if they say that, then you must say this. They give you flowcharts because you can't think for yourselves. It's an absolute mess. I don't have to speak for SEC fans, Tom, because if you're a fan of an SEC, of a conference, I got nothing for you. Be a fan of a team. Be original. I was talking to somebody the other day. We were talking about the Atlanta Braves and how they may change their name to the Atlanta Striped Fish or something like that. I have to pick a new baseball team. And the reason that I'm telling you this is that I'm going to pick the Kansas City Royals as my new baseball team if the Atlanta Braves they change their name to the Atlanta Stripers or whatever, and they bow to political pressure simply because they don't like the name of the Atlanta whatever. And they think that it hurts the Native Americans and things like that. I don't buy into that. It's been that way forever. If they change the name to the Atlanta Stripers, I'm finding a new baseball team, and I'm going with the Kansas City Royals because the Kansas City Royals are a horrible team. And I don't want people thinking that I'm picking some bandwagon team. Anyway, putting that out there. Some more comments. Tom says, I'm creating points for myself to argue against the SEC. I don't have to argue against the SEC. The things that I am saying are factual. Factual. Alabama played 2 teams in the regular season last year that finished in the top 25. The same amount of teams that Clemson played that finished in the top 25. So when people say Alabama's schedule is 4 times harder than Clemson, that is not true. That is an absolute lie. That's for the people that have the lower back tattoos and the smoking jackets in Birmingham. It's not even close. Now, I'm not saying that Alabama's schedule isn't generally harder, but last year's wasn't. They played 2 teams that finished in the top 25, same as Clemson. Now, you're going to have this set of people, well, the top 25, no, it's at the end of the season. It's not the ones that are at the beginning of the season. That doesn't make any sense. It's how you finish up. That's how you determine the strength of schedule. Anyway, but shout out to Alabama for doing it the right way. And by the way, Georgia fans, who else can I put in the mix here? You could argue Florida fans, haven't played a non-conference game out of state since, 1991. You're going to be doing the same thing. The same thing. There you go with that. Tom says, I won't argue Alabama, but nobody is disputing South Carolina isn't much harder than Clemson. I'm not sure what you're talking about there, buddy. But, yeah, we can get into that. Fireball wants to know where Deshaun Watson wants to play. I'm going to give you that in just a moment. We have to go to a quick break. But other things we're going to get into today, the regional, why you should go to the regional and who you should be cheering for. I'll tell you why when we come back here on the rundown. But first, we're going to talk about where Deshaun Watson wants to go. And Tom says, in terms of strength of schedule, I could buy in. First of all, South Carolina plays in the East. Their schedule is automatically tougher because they play Clemson every year. So yes, sir, I will yield to you on that. They don't play in the West, though, where they have to play Alabama, LSU every single year. In fact, they played Alabama, 2 seasons ago? First time they played them in 8 years. So I will yield to you that the South Carolina schedule is tougher because they have to play Clemson every year. So you are right. Began says, I'm one of the 2 people on earth who think the ACC is equal to the SEC. No, sir. I'm one of 2 people on earth who don't think that you should judge teams by conferences that they play in. It's this new thing. You should read some books. Get your knowledge up on the game of Hut Hut a little bit. It'll make you a better fan. It really will. It really, really will. Anyway, when we come back, we're going to talk about where Deshaun Watson wants to play. Kind of an interesting spot. And will it happen? Wow. This spot is okay, that's interesting too. And we'll talk about some of the emails that got passed on to through Ray Tanner's email box when Will Muschamp was let go at South Carolina. And the email that was basically said, okay, Will, you're fired. I'll tell you what that was. Crazy stuff there. Anyway, if you want to respond to what we were talking about and me apologizing to Alabama because they finally are fixing their strength of schedule. There you go. They're finally scheduling some Power 5 teams. Congrats to Alabama. Your team will be doing it too. More of the rundown when we come back here on Fox Sports Radio 1400. Oh, by the way, I wanted to thank you guys for something today. I just found out before I went on the air, I got nominated for the best sportscaster through the Columbia Free Times, and my website, Fox Sports Radio 1400, was nominated as the best sports site. So thank you guys for that. I'm probably not going to win, but it's still cool to be nominated on that kind of thing. I can look at Georgia's schedule later on. I mean, who have you got? Who have you got? Murray State, Georgia State. Who you got, man? Oh, thank you, Edwin. Anyway, it was kind of cool. I got the email from them. They're like, it's like 5 people that made the list. I was like, whoa. So apparently someone likes what I'm doing here enough to think that they're going to write me in for some kind of thing with the free times where I could be considered one of Columbia's best. Anyway, I'm going to post the link if you guys want to vote so I can maybe I can win. I don't know. We'll see. It's funny. The joke around the building is that you're not even the best sportscaster in the building, and they're right. The best sportscaster in the building is my mentor down the hall. It's like, yeah, why don't you listen to some of his sportscast? He knows what the hell he's doing. My sportscasts are all silly and like all over the place. But, you know, Tophs are great. I'm like, this thing's insane. I don't do well with awards either. You know, Tom, if I win, I might do something like that. I'm going to send the link out. I'm serious. Like, I don't like awards because it's just like, I don't know, man. I got into radio because I like being on the radio. I didn't get into it to win, you know, to have a picture of me standing there with a plaque. Nobody wants to have that crap. I like the fact that I could come in here in a t-shirt and a pair of shorts and some hiking sandals and do my radio show, and nobody cares. Now, if I win this thing, I have to put on slacks and like a polo shirt, and I got to make sure my hair is cut and my beard is trimmed, and I got to go and smile. Yeah, I'll send out the link. Let me see if I can find it here. Hold on, please. All right, let me do this segment. Hold on. Well, welcome back to the Rundown on Fox Sports Radio 1400 around the world on the iHeartRadio app. Thanks to the folks watching on of course, Facebook and YouTube and all that. All right, so Texans quarterback Deshaun Watson apparently has told people he wants to play for the Denver Broncos. That's the team that he says, hey, you know what? That's kind of where he wants to go. Texans quarterback coach Tim Kelly was asked to address his absence. Kelly replied with a simple 2-word, no, sir, before moving on with the interview. Of course, he is a no-show in camp. Yeah, there's that. Deshaun Watson's not going to play for the Houston Texans. So, yeah, there's that too. Tom with an interesting point online, and it's Tom and I think alike. I think that Tom and I are on the same wavelength on a lot of things. If I could just get him to get out of this SEC is the absolute best and just get him to focus on one team, Tom and I could be like best friends ever. Same thing goes for Beggin' Megan too. He says some pretty bright stuff, but it's followed by stupidity. A lot of it is, you know, spoonful of sugar makes the medicine go down type of thing. He asked me though, did you see USA versus Mexico Nations League final? Here's the thing that I got from that. And my buddy, friend of the program, Will Pelagic, who will join us tomorrow on the show, actually tweeted this out at Willie P. Style. Let's make sure I give him credit. The USA versus Mexicans National League final, which is a soccer matchup, had better ratings than the NBA. Yeah, that's Will tweeted that out the other day. I was like, are you serious? Because I would not buy into that at all. Now, I'm not a guy that likes soccer. Let's make sure we have that out there. But they had better ratings for the USA-Mexico Nations League final soccer match than they did for the first round in the NBA playoff games. Think about that for a minute. Wrap your head around that for a second. Now, I respect soccer players. I think you have to be a monumental athlete to play soccer. I really do. But on the national front, we do really well with our women's soccer team. They're one of the tops in the world. The men's team, I think it's fair to say they're like a middle of the pack as far as the world goes. I think that's fair from what little bit I follow of the American men. They've got some guys that can play, but in the end, it comes back to, yeah, we're about middle of the pack. We're not the Brazils or some, insert soccer power here. But I was absolutely stunned by that. Soccer is outdrawing the NBA playoffs. Now, ladies and gentlemen, tonight I will be watching the Phoenix Suns, America's team, the team that slayed the beast LeBron James, who may be responsible for the fact that we have soccer drawing more numbers than the NBA right now. Doesn't matter. The NBA is, I can't believe that stat that Willie P put out there. But maybe LeBron James is at fault. And I think a lot of people, and it was on this, in our chat room the other day, they don't watch the NBA because of LeBron James. Well, LeBron James isn't there anymore. So there you go with that. Realistic One says, Elway is never satisfied. Deshaun should play elsewhere. Elway was satisfied one time, and that was when Peyton Manning was there, and they won the Super Bowl, but Peyton Manning could barely throw the ball in that last bit when he retired. And it's not being disrespectful to Peyton Manning, but injuries caught up to him. Tom says that the U.S. will make the World Cup. I hope so, because, you don't really think about it, but when the World Cup comes on, I watch all the American games, and I'll watch the World Cup final. I will absolutely watch it. But as far as following soccer, it's like, But, when I think about it, too, when we have the Olympics this year, like, I'll watch the NBA finals. I'm going to watch my Suns every single game that they play. But I probably won't watch much USA basketball. So I'm just saying, they're going to roll through whoever it is that they play. Yeah, I'll be doing that. I'm not going to be watching much of that. So anyway, so Deshaun Watson up there. Now I've got one other thing. Aaron Rodgers has not gone to the Packers camp. Now this story is getting silly here because let's see here. What did I do with it? Did I put that in? I thought I put it in. Basically, Adam Schefter says that it's kind of a double-edged sword for the Green Bay Packers. If he doesn't show up, Schefter says Green Bay is going to be one of the worst teams in the NFL. That's kind of crazy. But if he does, they could contend for a Super Bowl. Think about that for a minute. How big of a player is Aaron Rodgers at 37 years old? Look, I think you should stop whining and go to camp. You signed your deal. You signed your gig. Stay with it. But the reality is that that's probably not going to happen, and at least for a bit. But NFL expert Adam Schefter says the Packers may be like, all right, we're going to roll with Jordan Love. I don't know how that's going to work out. We shall see on that front. All right, if you want to respond to what we've been talking about today, 803-978-1832, 803-978-1832. That is the number to call if you'd like to join us here on the Rundown, right here on Fox Sports Radio 1400, around the world on the iHeartRadio app. You think people are going to follow Alabama's lead and start scheduling 2 Power 5 teams? Yeah, it's going to happen. I think it's going to happen across the board with a lot of teams. The idea that you could schedule 1 is pretty much out the window. Pretty much. Do you think that Deshaun Watson is going to be a good pickup there in Denver? Do you think that's going to work? I think they need more than a quarterback. That's just me. By the way, updated odds to win the College World Series are out. Arkansas is the favorite at plus 180, followed by Vanderbilt at 450, Texas at 500, Tennessee at plus 600, Mississippi State at plus 1,200, Texas Tech at plus 1,500, Arizona at plus 1,700, Notre Dame at plus 1,800, Stanford at 2,000, Ole Miss at 2,200, Dallas Baptist at 3,000, Virginia at 3,000, ECU at 3,300, LSU at 3,300, followed by NC State and South Florida. So there you go with that. Folks like Arkansas, and I tell you what, that's a pretty solid pick. That's why I was saying earlier, on the baseball front, you can definitely say the majority of the talent and the teams that are going to be in Omaha are it's going to be SEC driven, in my opinion. I like Arkansas and Vanderbilt a lot, a whole lot. By the way, I want to give you the story on the Tennessee tickets, which is hilarious. So apparently, Tennessee had it set up where basically you had to call to get your tickets, and it's not going to happen. Tickets are nearly impossible to come by and already started to show up on the secondary market, up to $500. People that have their tickets like from that are the old school folks, they're buying the tickets for the book value and then selling them for $200 and $300 a piece. And there are fans of Tennessee that are not happy. What a mess. All right, quick break. When we come back, we'll have more for you here on The Rundown. You're listening to Fox Sports Radio 1400. I'm going to find this link for you. Hold on. Are we? Okay, you're talking about baseball. Okay. All right, hold on. Rundown, this is Rob. Hey, buddy. What's your name? Hey, what's up? Hey, buddy. How you doing? Yeah, man. Hey, hold on. I want to put you on the air. Can you hold on? You can say that. Hold on for me, okay? All right. Yeah. Just remember, you can't curse, but hold on. All right. All right. Hold on. Randall, you think LSU has a chance, brother? Okay. I mean, they're odds makers say that they don't, but you know what? Odds makers said that they didn't have a chance of winning at Oregon either. They're playing with some fire. I'll give them that. Oh, I've got the notes. Jimbo may be right. Rundown, this is Rob. Hey, Randall, what's up, buddy? All right, hold on, buddy. Hold on 1 second, okay? I'll get right to you. You're right after McKell. All right, hold on. So McKell's going to talk to us about Tennessee sucking, and Randall claims that LSU is going to beat Tennessee. So stick around for that. I like it when people call up and they're fired up about something that I said. I'm fine with that. Cry again in the corner. Oh my God, Fireball. Hilarious. I do agree with Edwin. You could get hot and be good to go. Welcome back to the Rundown on Fox Sports Radio 1400 around the world on the iHeart Radio app. Out to the phones we go. Mikkel joins the program. Mikkel, what's going on, man?
What's going on?
What you got for the show, buddy?
Listen, two things really. One, when have we known Tennessee fans really to be that smart? We all know Tennessee. It would have surprised me if it was a Vanderbilt fan buying a ticket for that much of a resale. And they're going to be that trash this season. And I do agree with Randall online. Tennessee going to pay all that money just to watch LSU go in there and beat the crap out of them.
You might be right about that. And would anybody be shocked, though? I mean, because Tennessee, it seems like, first of all, their baseball team, they did something funny at the beginning of the season. They hit a home run, and then they're toting the McDonald's bag to mock the football team. So I was kind of on board with Tennessee then, but this could be the most Tennessee thing ever, just dropping a series to an LSU team that some people thought may not have deserved to have been in the tournament, but we'll see.
Exactly, but just like my Gamecocks, I mean, hey, did we deserve to be there?
No, you should have been you finished above 500 in the conference. You deserve to be there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We didn't deserve to host a regional. I can tell you that. Old Dominion should have put in that bid.
Well, I don't think they had the money, so the money's important.
Exactly, and that's what it comes down to. But come on, man, I'm about to go. So tell me about this Ray Tanner situation. That's what I'm waiting on.
Well, I've got it. We'll have it for you in the next segment, okay? I promise.
I got you.
All right, bud. Thanks a lot.
Hey, go Gamecocks and never take water from a Clemson fan.
Fair enough, man. All right, out to the phones we go. Thank you, Mikkel. And we'll welcome in Randall, who thinks that LSU is going to go and pull the upset at Tennessee. Man, what's going on, Randall?
What's going on, Rob? First of all, before I get to that, I know there's some Florida and LSU fans out there and Ole Miss fans out there listening. So I'll say what I know for a fact on the LSU coaching job, the head coaching search, and it's down to two candidates. It's either O'Sullivan or it's Mike Bianca. Now, there's going to be a lot of pushback with LSU fans because, in 21 seasons at Ole Miss, Bianca's been to Omaha once, and, he's won nothing. The Kelvin O'Sullivan situation, it's with him and his ex-wife and his kids. His wife would have to agree to move out of Florida to Louisiana, which she said on record that she's willing to. But so yeah, that's that's what it's down to. And so as far as Tennessee LSU,
hold on, but on that, why? And I'm wondering why somebody isn't trying to go get Tim Corbin. I don't think that Vanderbilt's paying him, and we don't know because they're a private school, so I may be speaking out of turn here. But They've Corbin
had conversations with Tim Corbin.
Yeah, I'm just saying Tim Corbin would be a home run hire.
Absolutely, just as O'Sullivan would, and they also have talkings with Pat Casey. But the thing with Pat Casey and with Tim Corbin is, that one of them's 61, one of them's 62. How many bullets do they have left in the chamber?
That's fair enough.
I think they want to get somebody younger that's actually going to go out there on the field and coach these kids, which Paul, with his neck injury, hasn't been doing the last couple of years. So, and as far as the game this weekend, Rob, I mean, you call it an upset. I don't really see it being an upset. I mean, LSU played Tennessee in Knoxville, and it was 3 games. All of them were 1-run games. LSU had the lead in the 9th inning when a rain delay occurred, and the next day another pitcher came in, and we gave up 2 runs in the 9th to lose it. But I mean, to me, it's a pick 'em, and I think LSU at this point would have the pitching advantage with Mikhail Hilliard, AJ Labus, and Landon Marceau. And I definitely think the freshmen's in the bullpen for LSU, we have a little bit more depth in the bullpen. So I don't know about an upset. I guess on paper, number-wise, it would be an upset. Yeah, but
Tennessee's a top 5 team.
Me at all of LSU.
Right, and between the lines, you might be right. I'm just saying Tennessee is number 5 team in the country, and LSU wasn't ranked nearly as high. And then if LSU wins, that's kind of an upset on paper. I wasn't being disrespectful to the Tigers. I think they're a good team.
Oh, no way.
Yeah.
And also in these situations too, Rob, you got to look who's all the pressure on.
Oh yeah, and look, LSU's also, hey, this is the last one for the coach. The old win one for the Gipper speech. We can send him out here with a trophy. That's got to be big. I mean, I could see kids getting behind that.
Right. And the one thing, if LSU is going to win, it's not going to be LSU swinging the bats. If LSU wins, it's because we control kept at bay the Tennessee offense, because the Tennessee offense is averaging 7 runs a game or something like that.
7.2 runs a game according to my notes. They are pretty
right,
good.
and they are. But if you look at their starting rotation, they have one really good pitcher. I think it's Dallas is his last name. But even him, he's not like a Kumar Rocker or a Farr or a Marceau, he's good. He's Friday night guy, but you can get him, so, but anyway, I don't think it would be, an upset.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what we do in LSU over here in baseball. I mean, we win baseball games.
You're absolutely right about that. Hey, Randall, I appreciate
Rob,
you calling, man.
the
Thanks so
time.
much, bud. Thanks a lot. All right,
Bye-bye.
and let's go. One more call here. Welcome into the Rundown. Good afternoon.
Hello, Rob. It's Bobby and Casey.
Bobby,
how are you
what's
today?
going on, brother? How you doing?
Good. I appreciate you sending me the little direct message about voting, and I did vote for you. Is that? The free times?
Yeah, I know. I got nominated. I haven't told everybody yet, but I got nominated to be as the best sportscaster for the free times. Imagine that. I'm not even the best sportscaster in our building, by the way. That's like Christopher Thompson down the hall. But it's great to be nominated with Mike Uva and all those guys. So cool stuff there.
I say I love your show. Look forward to listening every day, especially Tuesdays, Thursday when I get off work. I can't really call you because I'm not allowed to be on the phone or on the internet while I work. So I don't really know what's going to be served up.
Right.
But I don't know if I should bring it up that you say to vote for when you're on the air, if that was not allowed by your management. But I hope everybody votes, participates.
Oh,
and,
thank you.
I hope whether they vote for you or not. But I'm going to shift the show real quick over to NLI. I just sent you something off of it. They met on Capitol Hill from 10 to 1 today,
right,
in Washington. And I'm looking at something on 24/7 Sports. 2 Georgia players got essentially advertising deals ready to go.
Yeah.
When the state legislator gets around and essentially passing the bill over there. But I don't know, in the last 20 minutes of your show, I had been sending you stuff from Dillinger, Dennis Dodd, the usual suspects on that all day. I don't know if you're going to bring it up.
Yeah,
I know.
I just got the stuff, but the NIL thing, it's good. It's going to be huge. I mean, we've got 3 things in college football this season that are going to change things tremendously: the transfer portal, NIL, and the college football playoff possibly expanding. It may not all take into effect this year, but this could be the target year where, okay, everything's going to be happening in the next year. So yeah, college football is going to completely change. It's going to be completely changed across the board.
You can kind of read between the lines,
right,
so to speak. The Nick Saban contract extension, the 2029 to the 2028 season. The whole thing now with that they're willing to budge and essentially tear up the contract or rewrite the contract to let maybe as many as 12 teams into a playoff.
Right.
Which I'm happy with 8 because 12 is just going to be too much wear and tear on the players. And it's interesting today. I saw.
Well, let's be honest about this. They don't care about wear and tear on the players. They only care about
exactly.
The TV.
They don't.
They don't care about
free.
That. Yeah, but for the betterment of the game, it should be the 4 teams and that's it. Earn your spot and then go from there. But they're not going to do that because they like the playoff atmosphere. So.
Yeah, but here's the thing: it sells advertising, though. Good matchups. But here's the thing, though. Let me say this.
Sure.
They seem to want to write some kind of health something into the bill for the student athlete or for the football players. That's interesting because I look at someone who used to be on with Teddy Hebner, and I'll say his name, Dr. Rick, and on with Phil. Yeah, but I mean, he was in the NFL for 9 years, but even though if the players don't ever get to the NFL, that level, still something that might pop up later down in life, they should set up a fund, essentially help the college player there's health issues that might pop. I hope they would do that. Kind of like since you're a Coast Guard veteran, fix the VA for I'm not going to get political, after the wars in Afghanistan,
Right.
the VA needed to be refunded by President Obama for all the veterans coming out with PTSD and other physical disabilities from those two wars. It's just set up. That's like set up a fund and keep repairing it. Hopefully, all the bureaucrats don't run off with the money and the schools run off the money. It's like a trust fund or something, an endowment being set up for players down the road to help them health issues and maybe continue their education.
Hey, Bob.
I hope they would do that. But yeah, Rob.
No, I appreciate you helping us out with that today, man. I was going to lead into that, but thank you so much.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you, and thank you for announcing it, because I hope people get active, because sort of the other newspaper in town, the Giants, doesn't really, I see, doing that. But I'll just say it, the Free Times does. Sound off your opinion, because I got two restaurants / sports bars I would love to say on the air, on Teddy's show, your show, and Phil's show, but they're not advertising. I know that's a no-no.
Yeah, but I appreciate it.
So I go on something like that, and I vote on who I think's the best, where I give my money and time at when I dine out.
Thank you, buddy.
All right. Thank you. Have a good day, Rob.
All right. Getting back to what he was talking about with the NIL, that, first of all, I want to make sure that, in my opinion, I don't think that in the end they care about the players as much as they say they do. I'm just not buying that. And I can give you a perfect example with the NCAA. What was it? The Florida State the other night, the Florida State softball team. They played till 3:00 in the morning. The NCAA is like, well, you got to play at 3:00 tomorrow afternoon because that's what's on the schedule. If you truly cared about the players, you would not be having them play 12 hours after that. And by the way, you got to play 2 games if you can beat Alabama, etc. You have to play them twice. Yeah, that happens. I don't think they care as much about the players, to be honest. So, and I hope that it doesn't get to a point where, yes, they can make some money, but in the end, it ends up going somewhere else. The Georgia bill is interesting in some of the way that they can get a piece of it here and then there and then down the line. I don't think it should be very simple. Okay. You are basically an independent contractor. You can market yourself. If you make money from yourself, then that's great. It should be that simple, but they're going to make it a lot harder. So a kid should be able to go, a second string offensive lineman for the Gamecocks should be able to set up an offensive line camp on his Instagram page and charge, some of these high schoolers, I don't know, $50 to come out for the day, and he shows them the drills he runs through and maybe looks them over and says, okay, this is what I've learned. They should be able to get paid for that. You should be able to have an Instagram page where, or a YouTube channel where, you put your stuff out there and YouTube pays you. You should get paid for that. I mean, if you use your likeness, that's the way that it should be. But once again, politicians mess everything up. And I don't like talking politics on the show because I've learned in life, we can all sit around and talk about football and basketball and baseball and everything else. We all have teams. But if we mention who we vote for, people look at you differently. Seriously. You know what? You can go and, like, in our state, you can if you're a South Carolina fan, you can tailgate with a Clemson fan, sit there and have some beers, talk some stuff. Remember when this happened? Remember when that happened? But we've gotten to a point in our society where it's like, if you voted for X person or Y person, I don't know if I can talk to you. And it really is like that. Really, really is. That's one of the reasons I don't really do a lot of issues anymore. I used to do issues with on WVOC in the afternoons. And I was pretty good at it. I worked behind the scenes and did stuff over there, and I liked it. But in the end, though, it makes you a miserable person, in my opinion. I'd rather be able to sit here and talk about, what Deshaun Watson's going to do, or my story that I'm coming back with next about why, if you're a Gamecock fan, you should be at the regional this weekend, even though the Gamecocks aren't playing. That's the kind of stuff that I like. The other stuff is just divisive. But hopefully the NIL doesn't end up that way. Final break of the show. We'll come back. I'll tell you why you should be rooting for this team in the regional when we come back. This is Fox Sports Radio 1400. Outside money is different. You're right. And Tom, I agree with you on that. Look, the people that say that getting a college, having your tuition and room and board, that's not enough, those are people who don't have student loan bills. Okay? Jimmy says I'm miserable. Come on, Jimmy. I'm a happy guy. You need to stop with all that nonsense, Jimmy. That's harsh, Blake. Harsh. But no, that's the thing. If you go, I think it's, what is it, 18 grand a semester or whatever? I'm not even sure, to go to South Carolina or Clemson or whatever. You don't have to pay a dime to go and just play football. That's impressive to me. So, yeah, I can definitely see that. Luke McCaffrey. I've got notes on Luke McCaffrey. Hold on. I will pull them up. Yeah, he transferred in, right? Left Nebraska, went to Louisville. Yeah. How good was he at Nebraska? That's kind of my thing. I don't know. That's a good point, though. We may talk about that tomorrow, but that's a good point. With kids just basically keep moving until they can get a spot to play. You know, somebody needs to tell, like, if you're not very good, I don't know. Under that logic, they told Joe Burrow he wasn't good enough at Ohio State. Just saying. They went with what? Cordell Jones? Was that the guy they went with? Final segment of the rundown on Fox Sports Radio 1400 around the world on the iHeart Radio app. I got to go through this quickly. You should be, if you're a South Carolina fan, you need to get behind Steven Skosh, the kid who looks like Kenny Powers. That's the best way to do it. I want to play you a clip from this interview that this young man did, and he may be one of the more likable people that are out there. Check this out.
Let's go back to that last inning, ninth inning. What are the emotions like entering that inning?
Well, emotions are go in, win. I heard a fan offer free Dippin' Dots if I blew it, which the price of Dippin' Dots with inflation is just unreal. So for a brief moment, I was like, damn, Dippin' Dots sound good. But also I thought in the back of my head, we win today, we win tomorrow, or tonight. We're going to be here another day. That's more per diem. So that means I can buy my own Dippin' Dots and be a winner. So it's like, I'm going to go out there. I'm going to attack. I think 3 words every time I'm out there. The first one's a swear word, starts with F. Second word's attack. Third one's win. And I just repeat that to myself. Unless, there's a breach in the system and a walkie guy, and I got to tell myself I'm a few different things that isn't a winner. I might break that, but then I get right back on it. Just this attack win,
One more quote from this young man about what he's afraid of.
Does anything make you nervous?
Caves. Mainly. Nothing really. I mean, I don't see any caves out here. I know we're in the South, but it's not the desert. That's where I find most caves are probably at.
Steven Skosh from Virginia. I know the South Carolina fans may be a little upset with him. He looks like Kenny Powers, of course, from Eastbound and Down. Go and check out that series on HBO. It's a good watch. He likes the Dippin' Dots. That's who you should be rooting for. Why not? Or you can go with Dallas Baptist. Either way, go to the regional this weekend. It'll be good for you. Clemson Sports Talk with Lawton Swan is next. He's the czar of Clemson Sports.
Stop looking at me, Swan.
Follow him on Twitter. He's at Clemson Sports. He is still crying that LeBron James and his Lakers were put out by America's team, the Phoenix Suns. But he does put on a good sports show here from 4 to 6. Of course, Suns and Nuggets tonight. I'll be watching that. Follow me on Twitter at Rob Sounds Good. I will try not to use the F word that the Skosh uses when he goes out there. I'll try to be a good boy. Phoenix gets behind, though. You might see it. More of the rundown tomorrow. This is Fox Sports Radio 1400. Hey, you guys are awesome. Thank you so much over there. Appreciate y'all, man. And yeah, I'm all over the place today. I'm starting talking about Dippin' Dots myself. New Robin Jackpot show tonight. I have no clue what Jackpot's going to do. I have no clue. He may come on and just start ranting and raving about everything. So looking forward to that tonight. See you guys later on.